South Africa was thrown into a storm of disbelief, celebration, and outrage when the Commissioner of Correctional Services officially announced the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma. The news, delivered in a stern briefing that carried the weight of history, immediately set the nation ablaze with reactions ranging from jubilation to fury. For many South Africans, it was a moment that symbolized accountability at the highest level. For Zuma's loyal supporters, however, it was nothing less than an act of political persecution. The announcement, made late in the afternoon at a televised press conference, was clear and uncompromising. The commissioner confirmed that Zuma had been taken into custody under strict security protocols and was being processed in accordance with the law. Within minutes, social media erupted. Hashtags bearing Zuma's name trended at lightning speed, while community WhatsApp groups, political forums, and radio stations lit up with heated debates. At taxi ranks, in taverns, and even in places of worship, South Africans were discussing one thing and one thing only: Zuma's arrest. The ripple effects of the announcement quickly spilled into the streets. In KwaZulu-Natal, Zuma's stronghold, convoys of cars hooted in defiance, carrying posters of the former president, while his die-hard supporters gathered in clusters outside the Correctional Service facilities demanding his release. In parts of Gauteng, some communities burst into spontaneous celebration, singing liberation songs and declaring that no one should be above the law. For political analysts, the moment was seismic. Never before in democratic South Africa had a former head of state been arrested and jailed in such a direct manner. The Correctional Service Commissioner's declaration was not only the culmination of years of legal wrangling and court battles but also a turning point in the battle between the rule of law and the perception of political impunity. Commentators noted that the announcement was made with measured authority, signaling that government institutions wanted to be seen as impartial and determined. The streets, however, told a different story. "This is not justice, this is revenge," cried a Zuma supporter in Pietermaritzburg, waving a placard that accused the judiciary of bias. Similar sentiments echoed in Zuma's hometown, Nkandla, where crowds gathered, some vowing to resist any attempts to keep their leader behind bars. Tensions ran high, with fears that demonstrations could spill over into violence as frustration mounted. In stark contrast, in cities like Cape Town and Johannesburg, some citizens expressed relief, even triumph, arguing that Zuma's arrest was a long overdue message to corrupt politicians. "For once, the system has worked," said a young professional in Sandton. "This is about accountability. If Zuma can be arrested, then anyone can. It gives us hope." Civil society groups and anti-corruption organizations were quick to issue statements. Many hailed the Correctional Service Commissioner's announcement as a victory for the Constitution and democracy itself. They argued that the move showed that no matter how powerful, connected, or influential, leaders could not escape justice forever. For them, it was a vindication of years of protests, campaigns, and legal activism. But the eruption in the political space went beyond ordinary citizens. Opposition parties seized the moment to sharpen their criticism of the ruling ANC, some accusing the party of only acting against Zuma because it served their internal factional battles. Within the ANC itself, whispers of division grew louder, as Zuma's allies decried the arrest as a betrayal of one of their own, while reformists insisted it was the necessary step to cleanse the party's image. As night fell, the Correctional Service Commissioner's words continued to reverberate across the nation. Outside the prison facilities, tensions simmered, with police reinforcements keeping watch over potential flashpoints. The streets of Nkandla glowed with campfires as supporters vowed to remain vigilant. On the other hand, in urban centers, fireworks were set off by some residents, a surreal reminder of the contrasting emotions tearing through the country. The arrest of Jacob Zuma marked a defining moment in South Africa's democratic journey. It was a clash of law, loyalty, and legacy, with one man's fate sparking a nationwide eruption. Whether seen as justice served or a miscarriage of justice, the Commissioner's announcement ensured that Zuma's name would once again dominate the headlines and conversations of millions. What remains uncertain is what comes next. Will Zuma supporters escalate their protests into nationwide unrest, or will the arrest mark a turning point where institutions begin to assert their authority without fear or favor? One thing is clear, the Commissioner's words did more than confirm an arrest. They ignited a firestorm in the heart of South Africa, a fire that will not easily be put out.